All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We are looking at what's basically the most unprecedented infrastructure boom reshaping the United States right now. And more importantly, we're diving deep into Chapter 4 of a really fascinating report from Virtualization Options LLC, which unpacks the fierce battle over the evidence used to justify all of this. We're seeing massive hyperscale facilities being permitted and built at an absolutely dizzying pace by companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta. I mean, billions upon billions of dollars are on the line here. But what makes this moment so incredibly consequential isn't just the sheer scale of the concrete and steel going into the ground. It's not a highly contested quality of the science being used to tell us whether all this rapid development is actually safe, sustainable, or environmentally responsible. Today, we're going to look at the massive amounts of power these facilities consume, the staggering volumes of water they use, and why the data you read might just depend entirely on who paid for the study. So we're starting with a history that, honestly, kind of strains credibility. How can estimates of AI electricity consumption be so dramatically different depending on exactly who you ask? You'd think measuring power usage would be fairly straightforward math, right? A server uses X amount of watts, you multiply it by Y hours, and boom, there's your answer. But the range of published estimates out there is so incredibly wide, it becomes almost impossible to claim they all reflect an honest attempt at measurement using comparable methodologies. When the numbers simply cannot agree on something so fundamental, we have to pause and ask ourselves, what is really driving the math behind the scenes? To figure out exactly where this immense confusion comes from, let's trace the foundational studies. Back in 2020, the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab projected near-flat data center energy growth. Then, jumping forward between 2022 and 2024, reports commissioned by the ITI, which is an industry group, strongly emphasized that efficiency gains and renewable energy procurement would be completely sufficient to offset any AI-driven demand growth. These industry-favorable studies quickly became the standard go-to citations in regulatory filings all across the country. Yet, out in the real world, the actual reality of the infrastructure boom paints a drastically different picture. We're watching grid planning forecasts get absolutely blown out of the water, and massive facilities are being built at a pace that entirely outstrips any independent scientific evaluation. These aren't your old-school basement server closets anymore. The physical footprint of these server racks requires sprawling, hyper-dense campuses that demand just staggering amounts of resources. The construction of these massive facilities is happening so fast that rigorous independent academic and government studies simply cannot keep up with the real-time environmental impact. We're essentially flying blind while rapidly laying down the heavy infrastructure for the next century of computing. To really grasp what's happening at the local level, we've got to break down some of the technical jargon that frequently gets tossed around in local zoning and planning meetings. Let's start with PUE, or Power Usage Effectiveness. This is the ratio of total facility energy compared to the actual IT equipment energy. Basically, it measures how much extra power the building uses just to keep the lights on, and more importantly, to keep those incredibly hot servers cool compared to the power used for the actual computing itself. It's an absolutely critical metric because a high PUE means a massive amount of energy is being completely wasted just fighting the intense heat generated by artificial intelligence. And then we have our next really vital metric, WUE, or Water Usage Effectiveness. This is measured in liters of water used per kilowatt hour of IT energy. This metric exposes the massive, often entirely hidden amounts of water required to cool these hyper-dense AI facilities. We talk so much about the strain on the electrical grid, but the immense thermal load of AI processing means these massive data centers are also incredibly thirsty. Moving on to Section 2, Water Usage and its Hidden Costs. It's one thing to talk about liters per kilowatt hour on a spreadsheet, right? But it's a whole different ballgame when we look at the local communities actually hosting these facilities. We're seeing rapid data center expansion in places like Arizona, Nevada, and Texas, regions where water is already an incredibly scarce and precious resource. And the crucial point here is the massive disconnect between corporate messaging and local reality. Tech companies frequently claim they're achieving net zero water use. How? Well, mostly through distant corporate replenishment credits, basically funding watershed restoration miles and miles away from the actual data center. But the independent reality right on the ground is stark. These facilities are drawing heavy volumes of water from already over-allocated rivers and aquifers. So while a corporate spreadsheet in Silicon Valley might proudly declare net zero, local farmers and nearby communities are actively competing directly with these data centers for the exact same rapidly depleting local water supply. And adding a whole new layer to this confusion is the frankly shocking lack of transparency. Get this. There is absolutely no federal mandate requiring data centers to publicly disclose their specific water withdrawal volumes. It's almost entirely voluntary. And because it's voluntary, the reporting varies wildly in methodology. One company might measure its usage one way, while another company calculates it completely differently. That makes it nearly impossible for scientists, or local regulators for that matter, to accurately compare cross-company water usage or assess the true cumulative impact on a local aquifer. Which brings us to Section 5, Research Bias and Conflicts of Interest. When you dig into why the data is so conflicted, well, systemic biases clearly emerge. According to Chapter 4 of the Virtualization Options report, we've got an ecosystem right now where science and policy are colliding head-on, and the financial stakes are astronomical. On one side, we have industry-aligned groups like ITI and CCIA that are heavily funded by the tech companies themselves. They routinely produce studies that predict systematically lower environmental impacts, often with very limited peer review. Then you have advocacy-aligned groups like the Sierra Club that tend to frame things towards systematically higher impacts. But here's the kicker. The credibly independent research coming from places like Princeton's Repeat Project or Carnegie Mellon is peer-reviewed and highly reliable. Yet, paradoxically, these are the absolute least cited studies in actual regulatory hearings. The best, most objective science is essentially being ignored. We can actually see this clash of evidence perfectly in a real-world case study out of Virginia. A massive data center project was proposed, and two completely different studies evaluated the potential water impact. The industry-funded study used an undisclosed proprietary model and concluded there was no significant groundwater risk, basically giving the project a green light. But an independent study by Virginia Commonwealth University, funded by the National Science Foundation, using a public, USGS-calibrated model, found a projected 21 to 39% reduction in aquifer recharge. Think about what a 20 to 40% drop in an aquifer means for a local community. That's less drinking water, harder times for local agriculture, and a seriously strained municipal system. The independent study clearly warned that the development required significant hydrological mitigation to prevent disaster. Two totally different realities based entirely on who funded the math. So what actually happened when this went to the decision makers? The real-world result of this battle over evidence is profound. The Prince William County Planning Commission approved the project, and in doing so, they explicitly cited the industry-funded study, the one relying on the hidden proprietary model. The rigorous, independent VCU study warning of severe aquifer depletion, it was entered into the administrative record, but incredibly, it was completely ignored in the commission's written findings. Let that sink in for a second. Local planning commissions are actively relying on industry-funded models to greenlight megaprojects, while actively sidelining independent science. Let's look at some true accountability solutions. This isn't just some academic debate. It's quite literally about the future of our local environments and our power grids. To fix this broken system of evidence, the report outlines several clear, actionable policy recommendations aimed at restoring research integrity and ensuring public resources are protected. First, reverse the CEQ guidance that gives these projects an easy pass and mandate full environmental impact statements for massive data center campuses over 50 megawatts. We also desperately need to federally fund genuinely independent research through the NSF and Department of Energy. And crucially, we absolutely must implement strict conflict of interest rules that completely prohibit industry funding for the people tasked with reviewing these massive projects. We have to ensure that decisions altering our landscape for decades are based on objective science, not corporate PR. As this AI infrastructure boom continues to just accelerate across the country, we have to stay vigilant. When a new facility is announced in your state, your county, or your town, we must constantly follow the evidence, rigorously check the methodologies, and uncover the financial motives behind the numbers. Because the power and the water these data centers consume, they belong to all of us. So the next time a massive mega project is proposed in your community, you have to ask yourself, who is actually paying for the science deciding your future?